A $10 million budget, a YouTube superstar, and empty movie theaters across America. This is the untold story of how one of the internet's biggest child stars went from viral sensation to box office disaster, and what it reveals about the dark side of turning kids into brands. In early 2024, Ryan's World, Titan Universe adventure was launched with an audacious goal to transform a child's viral YouTube success into a blockbuster cinematic empire. Ryan Kaji, the 7-year-old star who unboxed toys and played games and videos that sometimes racked up over 1 billion views, had become a household name among young children. His brand, Ryan's World, was already a merchandising juggernaut with everything from action figures to branded toothpaste. But Ryan's parents and business partners weren't content with toy aisles. They wanted Hollywood, and they were willing to bet millions on the idea that his internet fame would guarantee box office gold. By the time the first trailers dropped in May 2024, it was clear the film wasn't aiming for subtlety or artistic merit. The trailers, uploaded on Ryan's own YouTube channel, showcased a bizarre mishmash of live-action sequences and low-budget animations. Critics and concerned parents quickly noticed the awkward performances and underwhelming visuals. Comments were disabled on the trailer, but the ratio of likes to dislikes told the story. Even Ryan's loyal online audience was skeptical. Early buzz on forums like Reddit and parenting groups suggested people weren't buying what the Kajis were selling this time. When the film premiered in June 2024, any lingering hopes of a surprise hit evaporated. Audiences expecting a polished, Pixar-like experience were instead greeted by an opening scene so strange and awkward, it instantly went viral for all the wrong reasons. Rather than a thrilling or heartwarming introduction to Ryan's big-screen adventure, the film began with his mother performing Tai Chi or yoga on the family driveway. A giant, fake-looking blue egg fell from the sky with cartoonish effects, crashing beside her and revealing the film crew's reflection in the garage window, an amateur mistake that would set the tone for what audiences were about to endure. The title card, Ryan's World, Titan Universe Adventure, appeared over this chaotic tableau, promising an epic experience it had already failed to deliver. Almost immediately, families realized they weren't in for a whimsical ride. They were watching a glorified home movie stretched to feature length. From the outset, the film was more focused on featuring the entire Kaji family than on telling a coherent story. Ryan's mom, dad, and even his sisters had major speaking roles, with many scenes feeling like forced vignettes taken straight from their YouTube videos. Only longer and painfully awkward. Critics later called it cringe cinema and an extended vlog masquerading as a theatrical release. The movie's plot was a labyrinth of nonsense that lost viewers early on. After a short, unfunny driveway scene, the story jumped to Ryan hosting a live-streamed magic show. This sequence, featuring YouTube magician Dan Rhodes and Ryan's supposed best friend Aiden, was meant to showcase Ryan's charisma. But the awkwardness of child actors reading stiff lines killed any chance at magic. The live stream began with 2 million likes instantly appearing on screen, despite only 145,000 live viewers, a number that made absolutely no sense. Moments later, Aiden stared blankly at her phone and announced 3 million viewers, even though her phone screen, clearly visible to the camera, showed nothing of the sort. It was an unintentional metaphor for the entire film, hollow numbers meant to impress but impossible to believe. As the magic show fell apart, Ryan's sisters revealed they had sabotaged his magic goop, causing him to storm off to a local comic book store. The film's tone veered wildly from scene to scene. One minute Ryan was screaming in anger, the next he was chatting awkwardly with a comic shop employee offering him access to a secret room in exchange for a video message for his sister. Instead of building a sense of wonder or adventure, These scenes felt transactional, stilted, and devoid of any real emotion. Things only grew stranger when Ryan discovered the mysterious comic book that sucked his sisters into its pages. What should have been an exciting leap into a fantasy world instead became a confusing slog of poorly animated sequences, uninspired villain design, and nonsensical dialogue. Critics noted that the villain, simply named the Big Bad, lacked any backstory or character development, turning what should have been a thrilling conflict into a series of repetitive, meaningless battles. Meanwhile, the film's live-action segments continued to undermine any potential for tension or engagement. Back in the real world, Ryan's parents stumbled through scenes that tried and failed to provide comedic relief. Their lines felt forced, their delivery robotic, and their motivations non-existent. Exchanges like, "What's wrong? The kids are acting really weird," and "They must be working on my surprise," were supposed to be funny, but came off as desperate. Rather than letting professional actors carry the story, the Kajis seemed determined to keep themselves at the center of every scene, trading the possibility of a good movie for more screen time. As the plot reached its climax, the film grew even more chaotic. In the animated realm, Ryan and his sisters teamed up to battle the Big Bad, while Aiden distracted Ryan's parents in the real world by running around their house in goofy costumes. The entire sequence felt more like a YouTube skit gone wrong than a $10 million movie. There were no stakes, no heart, and no sense of urgency. Just noise, confusion, and a barrage of failed jokes. The film's resolution did little to salvage the experience. After a muddled final fight, Ryan and his sisters emerged victorious, returned to the real world, and awkwardly patched up their sibling rivalry with lines like,
Aiden!
You kicked butt.
You saved our butts.
"You kicked butt, Ryan," and "We saved our butts." These exchanges, delivered with cringe-inducing sincerity, only highlighted how out of place the family felt in a cinematic setting. And in the final scene, a new problem appeared on Ryan's doorstep, teasing the possibility of a sequel if fans asked for it. A prospect that, judging by audience reactions, was dead on arrival. The backlash was swift and severe. Early reports from movie theaters painted a bleak picture. Screenings with 0 tickets sold, showings canceled for lack of interest, and employees reporting entire weekends without a single attendee for Ryan's World Titan Universe adventure. Social media posts of empty theaters went viral, with parents sharing photos of themselves alone in giant auditoriums. On Reddit, theater workers joked that the film was a guaranteed way to enjoy a private screening, if you could stomach it. One parent's viral TikTok showed them and their child sitting alone in a cavernous movie theater as the film played to an empty room. Ryan's parents, ever eager to keep the brand alive, replied to the post with a cheery, "Thanks for showing up." A response many viewers found tone-deaf and emblematic of the film's complete disconnect from reality. Professional reviews were just as harsh. Critics called the film cinematic junk, the worst vanity project in recent memory, and a $10 million commercial for child exploitation. Parents who paid for tickets shared scathing accounts of kids bored to tears within minutes. One reviewer noted that the Emoji Movie, long considered one of the worst animated films ever made, looked like an Oscar contender by comparison. Parenting website parentpreviews.com refused to review the movie entirely, stating, "We are not providing a review for this film as our reviewers object to its roots." Financially, the film's failure was total. Despite opening in more than 2,200 theaters across the US, Canada, the UK, and Ireland, Ryan's World Titan Universe adventure grossed just $613,000, a catastrophic result for a production with a $10 million budget. With an average of only $311 earned per theater, the film was pulled after just 3 weeks. By the time the final screenings ended, many theaters had never sold a single ticket. In interviews leading up to the premiere, the film's director and producers, including Ryan's own father, expressed almost unshakable optimism. The director promised a terrific movie, while Ryan's father boasted about industry interest and the excitement of distributors. But in the same breath, he admitted he had no idea whether the movie would succeed. It was a risky bet, one that ultimately collapsed under the weight of its own misplaced confidence. What made Ryan's World Titan Universe adventure especially controversial was the broader ethical debate it reignited about child influencers and the adults who manage their careers. Critics argued that the film represented the worst-case scenario of child celebrity exploitation, with Ryan's parents and business partners putting him at the center of a high-stakes gamble that risked both his reputation and emotional well-being. Experts on child psychology weighed in, warning that using a child's identity as a business vehicle, especially in an industry as unforgiving as Hollywood, could have long-term consequences for mental health and self-esteem. This wasn't the first time the Kaji family faced scrutiny. Even before the film, Ryan's YouTube channel was criticized by advocacy groups for blurring the lines between entertainment and advertising, with many videos featuring toy promotions that children couldn't distinguish from genuine content. The Federal Trade Commission had previously investigated the channel, and consumer watchdogs called for stricter regulations on kidfluencer marketing. The movie's failure only amplified these concerns, as it showed what happens when parental ambition eclipses a child's needs. Meanwhile, industry insiders quietly took notes. Many studios had been considering similar projects, eyeing other young influencers as potential stars for creator-driven films. But the catastrophic performance of Ryan's World Titan Universe adventure was a wake-up call. A YouTube following, no matter how massive, doesn't guarantee box office success. Audiences, especially parents, are more discerning than ever, and simply slapping a famous name on a poorly made movie is a recipe for disaster. In the months following the film's failure, Ryan's parents doubled down on their online presence, continuing to produce daily YouTube content and expanding their merchandise empire. But the movie itself quickly faded into obscurity, its short-lived run becoming an embarrassing footnote in the family's otherwise wildly successful brand. Despite hints of a sequel, there has been no serious talk of another film. Perhaps because the industry learned a hard lesson about the limitations of influencer-driven cinema. For Ryan, the experience will one day be a curious chapter in his life story. The time he starred in a multi-million-dollar movie that hardly anyone saw. For his parents, it's a cautionary tale of overreach and misplaced priorities. And for the entertainment industry, it's a reminder of the profound difference between viral views and real-world ticket sales. In the end, Ryan's World Titan Universe adventure isn't just a movie that flopped. It's a cultural moment that exposed the growing pains of a digital age where childhood innocence can be commodified, internet fame can turn into corporate greed, and viral success can't always survive the transition to traditional media. It revealed the cracks in an industry eager to chase the next big thing, often without considering whether it should. This is the full story of a $10 million dream that crashed and burned. A tale of misplaced confidence, ethical blind spots, and the harsh realities of entertainment. A reminder that the price of fame, especially for a child, can be far greater than the payoff.